Guests already in studio. I have Peter Orero, who is a Member of Parliament, Kibera constituency, already in studio, and Arnold Maliba, who is a Communication Strategic Director. I got it right, Arnold?
Strategic Communication.
Communication, right.
Advisor.
Yeah, advisor. UDA. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mheshimiwa, you're just our neighbor here. How is our neighbor doing?
Your neighborhood is good.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
We are fine. Kibra is fine.
Yes.
Except the conditions that everyone else knows.
Across the road. We are not so far away from here.
Yeah, we are next to the city.
Yes.
We get all the good things and the bad things. But we are doing well, except now the pressure is about the feeling of the people about the state of the economy.
Yeah.
The people are hurting. The prices of the commodities are going up. Even though the other day we saw the dollar come down, but it has not trickled down to the people. They have not felt the decrease in that dollar account. The prices are still going up. Our people are people who live below $1 sometimes.
Yes.
And these informal settlements have people who feel the pinch of the economy. So I come from a constituency where we have the largest informal settlement, I think, in Africa.
Yeah.
And I think when we are here, when we talk about the crunch of the economy, we are the most affected.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we are as members of Kibra community. Yes.
Arnold is not affected.
He looks fine. I don't think he's affected. When you look at his tie, he looks okay.
I know that's not some good message for you this particular Monday morning. Are you okay?
Well, I am a practicing Christian.
Right.
Being a practicing Christian, I might not necessarily, of course, I understand that I might not be the perfect of human beings, but I also remember the teachings of old that have actually carried us through time, that you count your blessings one by one. Because again, if you are going to look at the bad things,
yes,
I can tell you, Victor, there are so many bad things, you will not be able to even live past the hour. So from where I sit, I think the state of the nation, number one, I think we've been able to stabilize the macroeconomics a little bit. Central bank, of course, on the other side has ushered in open market operations. And that is why partly you will talk about the dollar. Of course, largely, when you're speaking about the dollar coming down, it will still come down. And from the projections we have as government, we expect that the dollar will go down and stabilize between 130 and 135. Because largely, the dollar's rise was due to speculation. And those are open market dynamics. You can't begrudge people for doing that.
Was it deliberate?
Because they knew that we had a hard stop in June to pay the 2014 Eurobond.
Yes.
So banks and other speculators were holding dollars, knowing that GOK had no option but to pay that particular debt in dollars. Then what did we do as a nation? After balancing out a number of issues and thinking that now we are good to go to the market, remember that we tried to go to the euro market sometimes in 2021, and it was impossible. So after balancing out the economy, working out well, and not easily by a contribution of every individual, including those ones he actually feels like they are so hurt, we were able to actually think, this is, so we went back to the euro market. And with that, then of course, there's a little bit of panic sell, because that shoot was not organic. It was too artificial, because there were those people who actually thought that when they hold it, and we have got a hard stop in June this particular year, there is no way they were not going to make money. And you saw them actually projecting that they would sell the dollar by June at 200. That's not going to happen. So that is one thing I'm looking forward to. This particular week, the government is having, the executive is having a retreat to take stock of what they've done in the last couple of months. Every cabinet secretary and the PSS will be there.
At least now, Mheshimiwa knows that the dollar effect was artificial. It was not
well,
about
the rise
the global
largely
stability. It was not about global stability. Mheshimiwa, now you are answered.
Maybe that is as an advice, and I think that is his opinion. we are yet to see. Let us give it 3 months and see whether it is stable.
Yeah.
Because to me, I think it is digging one hole to fill another hole.
Taking from Peter and
yes,
serving
from
Paul
the
the other
left
side.
to the right. I remember when they went to Japan to get a loan, about 320-something billion, to help stabilize this and the payment of the Eurobond. So, in my view, is that this is quite temporary. It is temporary. It's not about speculations. If it is about speculation, we have taken 1 year and 18 months. If it was just speculation, it would have come down then.
Yeah.
Because it never takes more than 1 year about speculations. You cannot speculate for 2 years. Yeah, it is ironical. So let's wait and see. I get my friend where he's coming from. But as a person that believes that this country must run in a more effective manner, about speculation, we want to sit with him here in the next 3 months and see whether it has gone to 120.
You
Victor,
have a date.
just a minute.
You have a date.
Yes, just a minute so that we do justice to this dollar issue. There are 4 general explanations as to the trajectory that we've actually witnessed. And I'll actually give both the good and the bad explanations, just in a minute. Number 1, like I said, the stabilization of the macroeconomics, that we've done so well. Even our ability to go back to the euro market is because we have been able to work around that. There are 3 ratios. I'll not go back to that to actually refer to that.
Yeah.
So that is there. That is a fact. Number 2, of course, there is the argument, especially by those who do not like government, that this is the New Year's, the Chinese New Year. But if you were to look back, there was a Chinese New Year last year. The dollar didn't go down. And you can actually check that for the last 5 years, every Chinese New Year, for us, for the last 5 years, there has not been a downward trajectory. So that explanation, like I said, that explanation does not hold. Then you can come to the explanation I gave about the Eurobond specifically and speculation as such, that there were people, and that is a fact. People knew, and you know there are guys who are very quite clever. Do you know that there are people who knew somehow that you could actually know that the Israeli war, the Palestine-Israeli war, by just observing the stock market, you will actually see that there was specific interest. There are guys who bought into weapon manufacturing equipment, or rather firms immediately. So the Eurobond market is a big explainer to where we are today. And looking at what we have done as government, plus then the Eurobond effect, and the work Mheshimiwa and the others are doing in Parliament, I can tell you 100% that we know and we expect. We are not going to 120. Like I told you, the dollar is going to stabilize at between 130 and 135. We will be there for the longest time. So for those out there who are still holding to their dollars, hoping, because we now have got a stockpile of dollars, and then there is the government-to-government oil deal that has actually also ensured that we do not need dollars immediately. So that in and of itself has worked out. You see, our neighbors down south, for example, they made fun of us about these issues in the past. They are exactly where we are. What so many people do not know in the region is that when Kenya has got a sneeze, the rest of the region does not even have a cold, it has got malaria.
Hold that thought. We are coming back to discuss that one in depth, because that dollar effect, there was a bit of some panic last week, and people went to the market, the banks, and we also what the deputy president said, that the dollar is going to stabilize for the next 3 days. Mheshimiwa Rais amepanga kazi vizuri, so if you have your money, stashed somewhere, holding, then go ahead and see what's happening. Let's take a look.
And by the way,
yes,
it is not the rate, the exchange rate. That is exclusively a measure of the stability of the country. It is not exclusive. You can go to other countries where the exchange rate, you go to Ghana, you get the exchange rate. You go to Nigeria, you get the exchange. That is not the only measure of the stability of the economy of a country. So there are other factors that we really need to go into and look holistically what stabilizes the economy of the country.
And as I spoke about stabilization of macroeconomics, those are the foundations. You see, we have to appreciate where we've come from. That we were somewhere and now we are not there.
Hold,
Paul says that I was once a child and now I'm an old man.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. On the front page of the People Daily, as usual, Raila fight for AU job rattles allies. That is on the front page of the People Daily here. Raila fight for AU job rattles allies. This is what's on the front page of the People Daily. What you have here. There is a panic. ODM calls for crucial meeting to discuss party's future if opposition chief clinches seat, as Kalonzo assures that Azimio coalition will be safe in safe hands. That is what you have here. Yes, Raila is out of the country for a conference in Berlin. And now, again, still on the front page, Ruto's headache in Naivasha, key talks. This is what we have here on the splash of the People Daily. After suffering string of self-inflicted setbacks in court on legacy plans and rising despair by core supporters, wounded president retreats to tech stock. This is what we have. Yes, so the PG is happening this particular morning today in Naivasha. Raila fight for AU job rattles allies. And now there is a meeting to discuss party's future if opposition chief clinches seat. And Kalonzo now assures that the Azimio coalition will be in safe hands. This is what we have to hear here. Again, there is a bit of some back and forth between the executive and the governors, where the state released 3 billion shillings for health promoters. And now governors are also planning to have a meeting to discuss over this, whether to get it off their hands or take it to the national government. This is what we have. What we have, auditor sheds light on passport delays. We'll take a look at what is there. But gentlemen, we take a look at, let's start with what you have here. Raila fight for AU job rattles allies. Let me start with you, Mheshimiwa. Is it ODM has called for a crucial meeting? Are you aware about this?
As a party of the, and a member of the ODM party,
right,
it is not about the AU job that makes us to call a meeting. From where I sit, it has not been official that we are calling a meeting to discuss about the AU. Our party leader is out of the country, is in Germany now. He will be back, I think, this week. And really it has not rattled us as a political party. We are all aware that the leader of the party, in fact, today when I was reading many accolades, some people are saying that he's the bedrock of democracy. He is the epitome of selflessness. And people have come with many terms to describe him. But I think this is just an opportunity that has come, and it is being filled by somebody who has all the credentials. When you look at his credential, looking as is a Pan-Africanist, he has the knowledge on how Africa works. When people are down there, is the only voice that can come out to talk about what inflicts the African community. And I think when this has come to be our pet in East Africa, we are quite happy that the person who may feel this maybe is in the name of our party leader Raila, but it has not rattled as a party. And I think when we talk of a party, it is the ODM party, but we also have a Azimio coalition. You realize that last time the other political parties in the Azimio coalition, they just came to give their support to their leader who they feel has the knowledge, the skill, and whatever is required to fill that position. So in my opinion, it is not setting for us the pace. We are setting for it the pace.
You're setting for it the pace.
Yes.
All right. Arnold, UD also, Kenya Kwanza also supported Raila's candidature to the AU.
Yeah, as a party, we did a press conference on Saturday to lend our support to the candidature and aspiration of the ODM party leader Raila Odinga, as he looks forward to aspiring for the AUC chair. We are quite, as the leader of society, the UDA party believes that there are domestic issues that we keep at home. And like any person who is mature in a relationship, you know that there are things you keep in-house. So when our son goes out there to represent a country, Raila remains a Kenyan. He deserves that particular seat. He's among the very few people in this particular country who who've got global connections. He has got very distinguished credentials when it comes to democracy. And I would dare say, Raila si mbaya sana, ni wale tu watu wanamzunguka. Having said that,
I think that he needs
no,
to
no.
withdraw
So straight to the rattling, to the headline.
The word sada is negated by the word mbaya.
So to the rattling,
Yes.
I just needed to say this, that of course, Raila's exit, for example, we as Kenya Kwanza and the UDA specifically, are not worried whether he sticks onto the political scene or not, because at least we know that the outcome in 2027 is already determined for us. We really are not worried about
Is
him
Kenya
being
Kwanza
there.
happy about this?
We are happy with Raila going forward, and he's a Kenyan. But when he talks about rattling, we also understand that we are going to see more balanced and quality leaders like Mwalimu here show up, especially when Raila leaves. There is a class of people on that particular show of politics who do not do any other thing, because Baba has built enough premium, so there are some coat hangers on who just show up, and in the name that they will be fighting for Baba, they have been winning. So there will definitely be a little bit of political funerals in Nyanza, Western, and places like Coast, where there have been individuals.
What did you just say?
Yeah, there will be political, and we wish Baba well, because the quality of leaders, and I'll give you an example. Nyanza, for example, has got by mean, let me use the median age, has got by median age the oldest leaders. It's followed by Western and then Coast. It has got, there are places where you really do not have to have, and you know he is actually one of those guys. He comes from a constituency that has given us very good leaders, including Baba himself. But there are other people around, but like I said, kuna watu wanazunguka Baba hapo hivyo, who are only there kusema Baba Ria, Baba Tibim.
Are you one of them, Mheshimiwa?
No, I already have qualified that statement.
Are you one of those bad people around Baba?
I think normally we always say that when you bathe, you cannot see your back. It is only somebody who can see your back. And already has seen the back.
Wisdom will kill us today. Let's bring in Biko. Biko Asho is an advocate of the High Court, also joining us on set. Biko,
Yes.
welcome to the program.
Thank you so
We are
much.
just taking a look at what is here quickly on the front page of these particular people here. What do you make of this headline? Raila's AU job rattles allies.
It actually depends who these allies are. And, you know, Raila's political life has spanned over the years. And I don't know whether from the Kenya Kwanza side, they would say it is good riddance that Mzee is now leaving the political scene. But then I wouldn't really want to say that he's leaving the political scene per se, because he's joining the AU doesn't mean that he cannot even, for instance, resign and come back and vie for presidency in 2027. When my colleagues from Kenya Kwanza say that the 2027 election is already predetermined, or it's already they already know the outcome, I say that is a fallacy. It is too early to even say that 2027 results are already known by now. So for me, I can't say that it is Raila's exit from Kenyan politics. It is an opportunity that has presented itself for Raila Amolo Odinga to vie for that position of the AU, the AUC chair. He still has an opportunity of coming back. He can even resign in 2026, and you'll still see him vie for presidency in 2027. So it is not his political death insofar as Kenya's politics is concerned. And it is true that, of course, Raila is best suited for this seat. He has the political and global connections. And he's been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
So it will be a very interesting, a scenario to follow, even in the coming days, as we try to galvanize and we try to mobilize our colleagues in the region. Yes.
All right. So this is what we have here, and Mwalimu says, but he was the principal, Jamhuri. So that's why you call him.
No, Upper Hill.
Upper Hill. Right?
Yeah. Not Langata Upper Hill, the great.
There was that nickname given to Upper Hill. What's the nickname? We have Patch. We have so many nicknames. Upper Hill. What was the nickname of Upper Hill?
No, it's just Upper.
All right. Alumni is here. Alumni. Any alumni in studio? No, we don't. Otherwise, mungepata kiboko. All right. So let's. This is what we have here. On the front page of the Standard here. Cheers to GS. Ruto no longer darling of many. This is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Cheers to GS. Ruto no longer darling of the many. The explainer. Increasingly, the president is facing hostile crowds from his support base. It started in Rift Valley, and now Mount Kenya has perfected the art of jeering leaders in his presence. Has the populace run out of patience with their leaders, or are they just frustrated? That is the explainer here. Are they frustrated, or has the populace run out of patience with their leaders, or are they just frustrated? That is what's making the splash of the Daily Nation, Standard I mean. And the president, let me quote what he said, that I want leaders to be respected. Heckling is for ODM. And you don't want ODM shenanigans in UDA. We do not want this kind of nonsense. We want a united country. Arnold,
Yes.
he said this, right?
Yeah, he did say that.
You did say that.
I wish to look at the clip if we could get.
I think this happened somewhere in Meru.
It is a quote.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If I looked at the clip, normally you are in journalism. You know there's something called context. There's the pre-text, the text
And this
itself,
cannot misquote
and
the
the
president.
post-text. No, I'm just saying,
Yes.
putting that statement in context is good for us to actually discuss, as opposed to actually just saying that we ran with that. You know, there's a story, you guys call it an angle.
Okay.
So the headline there already is talking about cheers to GS. So that particular angle is what they are pursuing. And I would say that for purposes of this show, it would have been good if we were to look at the context. So when you look at let's talk about the noises.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so
the headline.
the noises, all politics, first of all, Mwalimu will tell you, is local. So you cannot use the different crowd scenarios to say that you have got a threshold of data that can then justify this particular headline. And of course, the assumptions that are put there. I'll tell you why. For every incident, there was an explanation to it. It's not systemic. But of course, for a person, you know, when William Ruto was running, he was looking for votes. During campaigns, it's very unlikely to actually, wherever you go, the crowds are already organized, and there are people who are coming to your shows, or rather to the meeting, are people who are aligned to that particular end. Now, he is the president. He is government. He no longer can talk about promises. Once you get to government, and Mwalimu will tell you that once you are elected, you get to a point called end of talking. You must do work.
All right.
So, where are we when we talk about that? If you look at Kiambu, what was happening? Specifically, it was about the governor, some local MP, people organizing and working around. When you go to Meru, you know the issue that has been there about the murder of an activist, the continuous fight between the governor there and those who are trying to impeach her.
Yeah.
It's all around that. For us who work in the party, we actually have got our hands on type of news that if they went out here, you would think that the world is burning out. But our politics is quite dynamic. So
Let's take a break.
I do not think that what we have seen so far justifies this headline that there is a trajectory to this, because all these particular incidents have got local explanations to them. I'll tell you, even in Rift Valley, when there was the booing, it was about connection of electricity.
All right.
And it was about
fair
somebody
enough.
feeling like, okay, we can
Fair
actually
enough.
pick up after that.
They also have their voice to make.
Yeah.
You've made yours. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Alon Maliba, I have Wabika Share and Mheshimiwa Rero here from our neighbors. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. Now, adding to the front page of the Daily Nation, this is what we have here. on the front page of the Daily Nation. Welcome back, Nur Maliba, Bika Shoya, and Mwalimu Peter Orero here with me in studio. Let's take a look at what we have here on the front page of the Daily Nation, just making sense of what's on the headlines. Why the mountain is restless. This is what you have. Why the mountain is restless. We have got three faces. We have got Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and now President William Ruto. The explainer here is that it's the region that installed Kenya Kwanza in power in the 2022 presidential election, but the discontent brewing in the vote-rich zone more than a year after the polls has the top brass of the ruling party pitching a camp there to turn the tide. Just what is happening there. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. But for the sake of fairness, let me come back to the Standard and ask Biko a quick one, maybe a minute, to put your voice on this. Cheers to GS. Ruto no longer darling of many. Go ahead.
Let me say one thing, Victor. During the electioneering period,
Yes.
Of course, politicians come with promises. One would ordinarily expect that President William Ruto, as he was then a deputy president, that he understood how government works, he understood where the resources are and everything that goes on within government. And so therefore, the promises that William Ruto back in the days as deputy president gave to the electorate, you know, Kenyans took it, you know, as the truth, that he understood how things happen within government, and if he promised them that things would work in a particular way within the first 1 year of his being in government, then there was a legitimate expectation that the same would happen. The same hasn't happened. And that is why you are seeing that you know, that there is discontent within the electorate who feel that this is one person who had knowledge within government, and he promised on the basis of that knowledge. And if he promised Kenyans that he was, you know, that something was going to happen within a particular period of time, and it doesn't happen, ordinarily you expect that Kenyans are going to have issues with him. And it is because of that promise that he gave to Kenyans, and especially the people from the, you know, from the central region of this country, that they gave him their vote overwhelmingly. So when it now comes to a situation whereby he's either going back on his words, or he hasn't fulfilled the promises that he gave to them, you would definitely expect that there would be a backlash.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a politician, Mheshimiwa, you'd expect such to happen. Probably in the political arena, things can change, even in your own backyard.
Yeah, of course, things can change, but sometimes I get amazed when the Kenya Kwanza, they always say that they got empty coffers. I remember in 2002, when the former president, Mwai Kibaki, took over from the late President Moi, the economy was in a worse state. But he never talked about it. And after 2 years, I think it started, it grew, the economy grew up. But here, every day, every morning, every evening, what we are fed on is that we got this economy in a bad state. Yet, the current head of state was the vice president at that time. And when he was making some of these promises, I think it was based on his knowledge on the state of the economy. And I'm happy that my friend here says he's a real Christian. And during the campaign, all of us know that the current head of state is a staunch Christian who always goes to church. And many people believe this word because as a Christian, you cannot pronounce what you are not able to do. Like now, me, during my campaigns, there are things that I promise my electors that when I go, these are what I am going to do. And in my first year, I have tried to do what I promised my electorate so that they can also have confidence in your leadership. So these years, you know, the electorate will not jeer directly the president, but will jeer his people. He was saying the people who surround our party leader. So the people surrounding the head of state
are the problem.
When they are jeered, then that is a pointer to the head of state that here things are not right. When they jeer, I think it was Kihika in Nakuru, the governor, who is one of the closest and the staunch supporter of the leader, they are sending a message that here things are not right. So everywhere, the Meru, why are they jeering in Meru? This was some of the, where he got almost 90% of the votes. Kiambu, he got 90% of the, and that is where we have the majority leader coming from. Our majority leader in the assembly comes from Kiambu. And that is where we had the jeering the most, where the deputy president almost, he lost it. He lost his cool and said that you cannot do this in front of the king. Those were his statements. So I think this is a big point that people are getting jittery. When you talk of Mount Kenya, what interests them most is the coffee, it is the milk, and it is the tea. So what have they done on the prices of some of these commodities? It has gone down. It is not where they took it from. Okay. So we expect that these years, they are never going to go down. They will always go up until some of these things are sorted out. Okay. So I think that is where the problem is coming from.
Very good. Yeah. Let's cross very quickly.
Can I add something on that, please?
When I come back, as you'll be talking about, because it's almost the same as this.
Okay.
Biko,
yes.
Why the mountain is restless? Just almost the same thing Mwalimu is talking about. That's why I had to bring this.
Yes.
Why the mountain is restless? What do you make of this headline?
There'll be a lot of focus on the mountain. Remember that the president comes from the Rift Valley, and you do not expect that he will, that the president will receive hostility from his own backyard. But then there is this factor that is the deputy presidency, and you remember even in the run-up to the elections last year, there was the question as to where exactly would the candidates, the front runners, pick their their deputies from. The Mount Kenya region was fronted as one of the regions where the deputy president must come from, and that is why all the major political parties rush to the Mount Kenya region to pick their deputies from. There is an expectation from these people from the mountain region that because we gave you so much vote, because we gave you so much support, that there'll be reciprocity. That we gave you the votes, and we expect something in return. We expect that there'll be development. We expect that our people are going to be employed. We expect that we are going to receive certain favors from the government. And if the same doesn't come, if the roads that were constructed as at the time when President Uhuru was in government suddenly come to a halt, and so on and so forth, then there'll be a blame. And people are not only blaming the president, people are even blaming the deputy president for probably not doing that which they expected that the deputy president would do. So you expect that out of all the regions within this country, that there'll be a specific focus on the Mount Kenya region, and probably if we go to Western Kenya, there'll be a specific focus to regions like Bungoma that gave president a lot of votes. So to whom much is given, much is expected, and the people from the mountain are expecting that they gave the president so much for him to win his presidency, that so much is expected of him in terms of bias, in terms of development and so on and so forth. So there is a focus in the mountains, not for a bad reason, but then for the reason that they gave him the vote, they expect that he's going to.
Why do you think the three gentlemen are deliberate on the front page? What do you make of these three gentlemen?
The three gentlemen, one of these three gentlemen is the president, and like I've said, there is expectation that the president is going to perform.
Yes.
Two, there is this other gentleman on the left side of that page.
Deputy President?
Yes, the Deputy President. Yes, this gentleman has a task of galvanizing, the Mount Kenya region, because he is the topmost politician, as it were, right now. Now, the gentleman seated, or rather, in between these two gentlemen, has been the king. Yes, that is the former president. Has been the kingpin of the central, of the Mount Kenya for a very long time. Why is he being put in the middle of this? These two other, these other two Kenyans? Is because, and this is my take on it. The deputy president, as it were, right now, appears like he no longer has the sway that he had as at the time when we were having the elections. Now the former president is coming in to say that he's now you know, like he said, I think it was on Thursday or was it on Friday, that he is now coming back to do what? To consolidate his base, to bring all the Mount Kenya back to one basket. So the three gentlemen have a very strong say on the politics of the mountain, and it is time that the deputy president, as it were right now, realizes that the mountain is slowly slipping out of his hands, and the former president will not hesitate to take back his position as the president of the mountain.
All right. Okay. There we have it. Arnold, what do you make of this? Go ahead.
I needed to build up from the other end and then build up, come to this because it's, like you said, related. Number one, cheers to cheer, or rather cheers to cheers, and then building up to why the mountain is actually restless. I'd love to say this, that everybody seated on this table knows that governance is not child's play. Governance is not child's play. And that when it comes to leadership, President William Ruto knows that this is not, he's not building a church where people actually have to extol their leader and everything else. He is leading a nation. So when members of parliament from Kenya Kwanza went to him at some point when things were so difficult, and the media was running narratives that looked like they were so difficult.
You're talking about the Standard?
I'm talking about at some point. We are building on that, so it has got historicity to it.
All right.
What did the president tell the MPs? He told them, we were elected to work and deliver. This is not a time to be popular. It is time to work. There will be time to be popular, but for the time being, there is work to be done. When the children of Israel were told by God, if God had told the children of Israel that to get honey, you have to take care of bees, and bees sting, it's difficult work. To get milk, you will have to go and get Napier, taking care of cattle. I have some, I know it's difficult, it's not easy work. People wake up in the morning to ensure that your cows are well fed, they are sickly, you have to treat them before you can actually get the milk. They wouldn't know. So what am I saying? I'm trying to say that the promises William Ruto made, 172 promises in the manifesto, are about a process. And Kenyans must trust the process, because see what has happened to the price of food, see how the economy looks like, see what is happening to the dollar, see what we have built in the last 16 months. We've done so much. So trusting the process. And coming to birth is a difficult process. If you've been lucky and gone to, I'm saying if you've been really lucky and been to a maternity ward, you know that the ambience there is not very good. But then immediately after that, there's the joy. That is why we are seated here. We are the promise and the joy that bringing us forth was quite a painful process. So there is the labor that is being put to it. Kenyans need to trust the process. You can look at what has been done in the last 16 months. Yet you can also walk back 5 years ago and see the projections that had actually been put forth. You can see what's happening to our neighbors. So I said those blends, it's important to look at that. So many things have calmed down. He talked about, William Ruto has never been the vice president of Kenya. He was only a deputy. I know you forgot that. During the campaign, they were talking about history being important. He doesn't want us to talk about where we came from, or rather, he doesn't want us to talk about now in reference to where we've come from. I'll tell you this, Victor. Anyone who doesn't know where they've come from, they don't know where they are, and they most likely do not know where they are going. So it's important to get there. Talking about the mountain being restless, this headline is driven by regional kingship mentality. They've not moved there. The people of Mount Kenya in 2022 dissolved the office of the regional kingpin and decided that they will go to Nairobi as a people, and that this unconstitutional office that has existed de facto, and it's not de jure, needs to be done away with. They have joined the people, progressive people like the people from Western Kenya, for example. They did away with this thing called regional kingpins. That office does not exist, but some other people hold to it so strongly. So, so if you look at that particular headline, we're talking about the mountain being restive and everything else. That is housekeeping at the mountain level, at a regional level, where there is still a little bit of a problem. You know, the person of Uhuru Kenyatta is not a small man. He's a former president, right? So when he, unlike Kibaki, does not want to walk away from active politics and allow the region to organize himself, he's actually in the middle because he's meddling. If he weren't meddling in the politics of Mount Kenya,
to ask you this. Would you be
we
surprised?
will not be having these problems today.
Would you be surprised to see Raila Odinga facing opposition in in his backyard.
He has always faced.
Talk of Mombasa,
He
talk
has
of Nairobi,
always, that's what I'm saying.
Nyanza.
But
Would you be surprised?
Raila Odinga has never faced.
Would you be surprised?
I am not surprised because Raila Odinga...
Would you be surprised if Raila Odinga faced opposition?
Why would I be surprised? And he's already facing opposition. Raila has always had opposition in his backyard. There was once upon a time when James Orengo and Anyang' Nyong'o went against Raila.
Years ago.
But still, it was opposition. Today, we still have got Onyango laws of this one.
How
we
many
have got
votes?
Odoyo Widi.
How many
we
votes
still have
did,
got Owalo. It is opposition. We are talking about. We are talking qualitatively. We will get to quantitative later on.
Okay. My point, what I wanted to drive at is, we all know what happened during last election. It was all painted yellow during UDA, but this time around, it's not the same.
Not really.
That's what I'm talking
there
about.
was blue everywhere. We even saw a red carpet at KICC. We were sold fear. There used to be press conferences in Kajiado on a certain lawn in Atoli's home. Those photos, people would go there to just sell fear. By just showing up in Atoli's home, take photos in Atoli's lawn, and just share those photos. The kind of fear that was sold from Atoli's lawns, it was so heavy.
I think I really want to pick from him for his correction. I love it because he said he has never been a vice president. He was a deputy president. It means that he had more power because he was elected directly by the people and therefore was answerable to the people. He would never shy away by saying that he was not part of the government. When you are elected by the people, you carry the sovereignty of the people, and that is the Kenyans. So when he was in the government that time, it means that whatever happened in that government, he must take also full responsibility because he was a deputy president. And if he felt that it was not right, he would have resigned. Our party leader has done it many times. While he was a member of parliament and felt that he could not move on, he resigned and went and contested on a different party. So when your feelings, you feel that you have so much in you that you must do as a person, as a politician, then you need to chart your own way. But I want to say this. We'll call it political naivety when we say we can dissolve the term kingpin. Because in politics, for you to be respected, then the term kingpin automatically counts because people surround you. So you are their king. Even Gachagua referred to him as the king. The king was there in Kiambu. So the term kingpin can never be done away as a politician. But you know him is not, he's just practicing. But he's not a politician. So,
just a moment on that. It's just a point of information. You see, when I said that the people of Mount Kenya dissolved the office of a regional kingpin and decided, like what happened during Pentecost, that they will go to the Holy of Holies directly as a people. If that kingpin business was still sticking and was important, the person of Uhuru Kenyatta, who was not only the president, would actually have led the region to where it would have gone to this other side.
If that is the case,
he didn't.
If that's the case, then why is he appearing here?
Because he's meddling. He's in the middle. He's a meddler. That's why he's
Then why is he appearing here?
He needs to actually move from the center and become a statesman. By the way, Uhuru Kenyatta would make a very good candidate for the UN Secretary General. But if he continues to do these things down here, he will not really focus. See what he's done in DRC. He's done good work.
You took Mushima's
I think he's taking my time and he's bringing a lot of parallelism on Pentecost and politics. And they're always at variance. When you're talking about real politics now, we don't bring in Pentecost because we lose focus.
Religion is the best of politics, by the way.
Yeah, but we lose focus at this point in time. What we are saying is that he's, from his own words, he's saying that he's meddling. You cannot meddle when there is a president and a vice president, a deputy president. It means that he has certain backing, he has certain political goodwill, he has people around him that gives him the mandate to do what he's doing. But from where I'm sitting, I would not surely say that the former president is meddling. I think it is the people from Mount Kenya region that are so dissatisfied that they have decided to express their anger by jeering. And this is not only because of the state of the economy. There are many other factors. We realize that one of their own also had been proposed to take over from the deputy president. And that is Didi Nyoro. When we read from these papers, that he had also advanced his political interests and thought, I think the governor or the senator, Joe of Muranga, had proposed that Dindi Nyoro should be their kingpin and should lead them and be the vice president. And this is also a contributory factor in this region, that they are already satisfied with Gachagua. Why? He had promised them that the moment he steps there, coffee prices will go up, tea prices will go up, and the milk. And they are not seeing that. And now they are putting their interests in the name of Dindi Nyoro, whom they say...
Perhaps Mount Kenya probably expected too much.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah, they did.
Because it is said that they are the people who put the current head of state into that seat, and it is written there. So I think they expected more than they can chew. So they are coming to reality that really what they were expecting is not coming forth. Now, the Mount Kenya people, if you don't know, I have lived there most of my time. I learned there and I know what they cherish. These are people who believe in business. And if their business are going down, they will not have time for you because they don't have shamba, they don't have land. They are not like the Nyanza and the Western people where they still have large tracts of land. There is business. So anybody who can fix their business becomes their friend.
Yeah.
But if the deputy president and the president is not fixing their angle of business, then they have no business supporting them.
We talked about the issue of kingpinship.
Yes.
And we have got three gentlemen here. What do you read? I asked this question the same. What do you make of the three gentlemen here?
These are kings of the different regions. The head of state now is the kingpin of Rift Valley. For a while, Gachagua came because he was the kingpin of Mount Kenya, taking over from the former president. So this kingpin is what is the fight here. They want to dissolve the kingpinship, while it can never die a natural death, because in politics, we must always have kingpins. So this is the big fight here, that the Mount Kenya people believe that their aspiration now, they can now divert it to the former president, because the current deputy president is not giving them what they expected. So that is why the former president is there. But from his word that he's meddling, no. He's just trying to make his people feel that really this is what you elected, but they are not delivering on their promises. So that is why I think they have the three people on
Very
that.
good.
Yeah.
That's the interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we have here. The three gentlemen, at least you've given me their idea, their perspective. Kalonzo says that they'll soldier on without Raila. Akienda AU. Aenda tu lakini nyumbani tuko sawa. So Raila, former president, vice president, says that the AU top job bid for Raila Odinga will not derail the opposition coalition from the for the goal to check government and offer alternative leadership. This is what we have on the front page of the Daily Nation. This is something that we also want to take a look. And of course, you're also watching us. You see where we have it. You can head over and download the app here, KBC, and get everything that you want. We have got updated stories here for you to take a look, as well as, radio stations. We have got radio services also, business, we have got radio stations, a lot of them. You can go to Google Play, download the app, and you'll watch and listen real time, all the stations in the website. There we have them, all right? And all of them are live on our website as we speak. Tuko sawa? We are good. Mheshimiwa, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I read that Kalonzo was at Kenyatta Market in Langata. I want to correct it.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
That's your constituency?
Yeah, it is not Langata. That is Kibra constituency. And from there, it is written Langata constituency. So it should be corrected that it was in Kibra constituency.
You realize these boundaries can actually be very emotive.
Because that is my strong base, the political strong base.
You had a guest yesterday. What did you feast on? We all know
of course,
Kenyatta Market is all about.
It was an impromptu. He just went to take lunch. And I think now, because of his stature,
yes,
the journalists were there and he had to talk something.
Yeah.
He went to church at the Baptist, and then from the church, He went to Kenyatta to take some.
You're blessed.
So,
You're blessed.
of course, you know that is the bedrock of politics in this country.
You had to say that.
Victor, on that particular headline,
Yes.
I think it's, I don't know why it's necessary for the former vice president to go out and say that we will continue even in his absence. Why he says that, he's actually betraying the very fact that Raila has embodied, the embodiment of opposition and oversight has been the person of Raila. And that a lot of times, even when there are issues...
What of assurance? What of assurance? I mean,
oh, why if they were doing...
Because
you see,
happen?
Let me say this. A lot of times, there are people who say Raila needs to step aside and then allow other people to do work, right? Now, if you actually have to come out, you know, power, as in task and function, if you're looking at power from that particular definition, or base, it's like being a woman. If you have to say you are a woman, you are not.
Okay. Okay. Arnold, I need to fill your cups. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Meanwhile, head over to Google Play and download. This is what we have. KBC Channel 1. Everything that you need here. All right? Go to Google Play, download, and listen to us real time. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more after this. My name is Victor. Stay with us.
You don't have to explain that you are...
You will not last.
All right, Karibu. These are the three, do I call them musketeers? Do I call them three gentlemen? They're here. Arnold, you're so keen on that. You're getting some point from Weshimi Orero there.
From Walim there.
From Walimu there. And Wakili is, focused. Your Honor, very much focused. This is how we do it. Okay, Karibu-san to the program. Now, gentlemen, we all know what is happening across the country. And the issue here is this. We started with that one. It's the issue of Raila Odinga to the AU. Let's talk about this one. How is it going to pan out? Let me start with you, Wakili. Let's come back home and talk about Raila's candidature to the AU. East Africa, so to speak, we've never had such a position before. So the first question, what does it really portend to East Africa, not even to Raila Odinga himself?
As a point of correction, Victor, we've been in that position. We've been in that position before. I remember the former head of Comoros was there, and I think even the former head of Tanzania has been there
Kenya,
as well.
Kenya, I mean
Yes.
Kenya.
Yes, as in East Africa, we've had one of our own occupying that position. But then, as a country, we've not had the privilege of occupying that the position of chair. For the region, it will be it's one like my colleagues have said, locally politics is local. So once you have one of your own occupying such kind of a position, it comes of course it comes with its own goodies.
Yeah.
And we're expecting that with the occupation probable of Raila Amolo Odinga to the position of AU chair, then it will come with its own goodies within the region that is the East African region, and even as a country. When we come to now the local politics, the exit of Raila Amolo Odinga from active Kenyan politics to his position as the AU chair would automatically mean that there ought to be other people taking up leadership positions, and especially as leaders of the most visible, the most popular party, that is ODM in the country. Of course, there will be the people will now be angling to become the spokespersons of that particular party. And much as my good friend Orero would want to say that the meetings that they are calling for are not meetings that have been brought about by these Raila's bid to the AU, but then I would want to very respectfully submit that yes, it is. When such kind of a thing happens, and for instance, in a home, when a father is exiting, maybe let's say they're going for a sabbatical outside the country and probably for extended periods of time, you expect that then there will be someone who will be nominated, or there'll be someone who will be given that power and the mandate to take over the leadership and the running of the family. So the same thing that is going, and it is the same thing that is going to happen to the ODM party and generally the Azimio coalition. Now that the head of that house is angling towards taking up a much more bigger position that requires that they will not engage in active politics, then there must be a succession plan, and I would want to presume that it is because of that then we are having our colleagues from the Azimio coalition now trying to organize their house and just asking themselves in the event that Raila Amolo Odinga exits from active politics, who exactly is going to steer that ship. For me, if you asked me, the second senior-most politician probably, in terms of the principles, then becomes Kalonzo, and I'm not quite shocked that he is now coming out very forcefully to to put his voice and say that in the event that Raila Amolo Odinga leaves, that the house will be in order. He's trying to assure his people that things will be okay. Hey, look here, things will be okay, much as we've had the leadership of Mzee for a very long time. But then even with his exit, though probably temporarily, things will be okay. So he's from the very onset taking up leadership. He's from the very onset assuring his people that worry not, things will be okay, and we are in charge of this. Yes.
Yes.
First of all, I just need to remind Wakili that both the eastern region of Africa and North have never been the chair of the AUC for the last 23 years, or rather ever since the OAU became AU, we in East Africa have never been. West Africa has held it twice, Central Africa twice, South Africa once. But then we in East Africa and North Africa have not done that. A lot of times, of course, we confuse the AU chairperson and the AUC chairperson. A lot of times when people do not want to remember very fast. So the AU chairperson is a honorary position that is given to the heads of state on a rotating basis annually. The AUC, or the Africa Union Commission chairperson, is the legal representative of the AU. He is the CEO. He's the leader of the secretariat. He's appointed for a 4-year term, renewable once. So since OAU in 2002 converted to AU, we have never had an East African or a Northerner hold that particular position. So it feels naturally in the spirit of sharing out that we in the East or the North should actually take over this particular position. So as we look at that, there are so many issues to play around. Normally, candidates go to these as you fill them as blocks. But I'm hoping since the president of Mauritania now, is it Mauritania? Those Mauritania or Mauritius, there's a way we who are British trained have got a problem with T. It should be sh, not T. But then elsewhere it's pronounced differently because a lot of them are actually of French origin, the names. So since that particular president has been appointed the chairperson of the AU, and he is from the North, I hope that for the first time, the AU should actually be open to having, or rather, choosing the AUC chair through consensus. That we in East Africa, now, we have got a Northerner chairing the AU. We in East Africa should be allowed to actually then lead the AUC secretariat. And like I said, the person of Raila Odinga brings in immense experience. He has got the skill sets that would actually befit that particular office. And we, as the region, we even host the headquarters of the AU in this region. We actually, it would be good and fair justice to allow us to actually field a person to come in. What will we do as a country? As a country, definitely, it's important that we back our own. We are not going to repeat the mistakes we did with the Amina's time at some point when she was looking for some international job, and then we dropped the ball along the way. We want to actually talk to our neighbors. Raila has been a long practicing politician, so in one way or the other, his brand of politics might have might have rattled a little bit of neighbors here, but we want to tell them that once he sits in there, he's a diplomat. He's a full-time diplomat. And Raila can do that very well. He served as the High Representative of Infrastructure for the AU. You've not had any complaints so far. So we will quell those concerns in the region. We also know that Djibouti has got a candidate.
Yeah.
We would love to reach out to them and talk to them to allow Raila Odinga here to actually go
Why
in.
was it important for Kenya Kwanza to support Raila's candidature?
Because
for somebody who doesn't understand.
why is it important to support Raila Odinga? It is the business of the government of the day
Yes.
to support its people whenever it's outside here. Let us not conflate internal differences with our national interest. The president is the head of state, the leader of the nation, not the leader of Kenya Kwanza.
Yeah.
So when Kenya presents, you know, like when our athletes, when
So
our
in
rugby
this case,
team,
it's now Kenya presenting Raila Odinga. to
Raila
that
Odinga
position.
is a Kenyan. At this
Yes.
particular level, he's an eminent Kenyan, respected not just regionally and continentally, but also globally. So when Raila puts his best foot forward,
Yeah.
it will be foolhardy for any government, whether it is Kenya Kwanza or whatever government will be in office, to fight against that particular bit. Because we exist as a government to further the interest of this particular nation. And, you know, our democracy is noisy. Sometimes you might actually think the house is burning, but that is how we do our housekeeping.
Right.
Once we go to the international stage, we forget everything. Have you seen countries that have tried to fight us online? We serve them a little fear
I really-
of
I really
God
want you to
without caring
understand that
where we come
because
from.
First of all, Kenya must vote if Raila, you know. is
Yes, so
there.
Kenya has already given, and I'm telling
So
you,
if he
because I
doesn't
speak,
get that support from home, we'll
he
imagine
will
how.
definitely,
Exactly.
first of all,
Yeah.
you are going to, you remember even for
Yeah.
Musa Faki Mahamat, when he was actually coming in, I just like to remind people that he was the greatest critic to the president of Chad then. Don't forget that.
Very good. Let's
And then the AU
hold
reached
that
out to the
thought.
president and asked him if he was okay with it. He said, why not? He is a Chadian like
All
the
right.
rest of us.
How is it important, Mheshimiwa? How is it important for Kenya? Raila Odinga being in that position. And we also saw former President Obasanjo here in the country last week.
Yes.
With
Now,
him.
one thing is that there is one term that I would wish that we completely obliterate, wipe it out, that is exiting politics of Kenya. I think that term should never be used because even AUC is a political position and it is even a senior political seat. So I talked with Mzee before he left and he was not like he's exiting any political space. And at his age, really, when he was there for infrastructure in
Yeah.
AU, we saw how he was doing his job, and at the same time, he was just within the country. And I believe that for Kenya, this is a very prestigious position that we all need to support Raila Amolo Odinga. But I also want to say that his brand of politics, I just want to say, has not injured any of our neighboring countries. I am aware that he talks with all our neighboring heads of state. He talks with the Ugandan head of state, Rwanda head of state, DRC head
Why
of
did you go in
state.
that order?
So, and our neighbors, Tanzania, heads of state, there has been a fallacy, there's been a mistaken notion that maybe they may not support Raila. But I am aware that they closely talk to each other. It's only that our democracy here, as he has said, is noisy. And you might think that we are not eating from the same plate. But as East Africa bloc, I will compare it with the economic blocks in this world. We have ECOWAS, we have COMESA, we have IGAD, we have Brexit. So this is a political East Africa political is a kind of our bloc, East Africa bloc, and we need to go as a unit, just like economic bloc. We need to support our candidate, just all of us, because what it will bring to this region will be very, very immense politically. It is very competitive politically, world over, that some of these positions will sway other countries, even to give us support, not just politically, but also economically, because politics is not just about word of mouth. Politics is about looking for resources, and looking for resources for who? For your people.
Yeah.
So when he's in this position, he will galvanize support. We will lobby for support so that our country and our region may improve politically. And being who he is, the network that he has all over the world, I think maybe in this region, he has been in that field more than almost anybody else around here. So I feel that going at that position will give us a leeway to and a leverage to get more of the support from the foreign-based countries and even the regional countries. This is something which is good for us. When I look at that statement, there is no panic in ODM, and there is no panic in Azimio la Umoja.
Are you applying the 11th commandment? Are you applying the 11th commandment?
I think these are imaginations of people that we are panicking. We are not panicking. ODM is very, very strong. You can see we have been recruiting. Even before this announcement, our party leader had decided that he's going to recruit members of the ODM, awaiting election in 2 months or so.
Wakili, there is that sense of lobbying. And when he spoke about Uganda, President Museveni and our neighbors in Rwanda, I'll ask him why that particular order. There is that sense of lobbying, and you must talk to your neighbors. You must talk to some of the big boys around, you know, people who are going to be on the ballot.
Yes.
And there is that question of certain countries might not be so comfortable with Raila's candidature. How is it going to work out? Because we all know President William Ruto must also put his voice. As I asked, Obasanjo was here last week. How do you make of all these things put together?
I really doubt, Victor, we are going to get opposition from our neighbors. And just like my colleagues have said, when we get the position, it is not just Kenya that is getting that particular position. It is a position that would be for the, let's say, for the region, if it is the East African community and so on and so forth. So my take would be that it would be important not only for Kenya as a country, but even our brothers Uganda, Tanzania, and the rest of us. I'm very happy that my good friend here says that Kenya Kwanza will solidly, and not just Kenya Kwanza, but then even the leader of Kenya Kwanza, who happens to be the president of the country, is has already given the green light that is going to support the candidature of Raila Amolo Odinga for this particular position. What would be interesting to me actually would be what efforts or what the president and what Kenya as a country what efforts they're going to put in place to ensure that then they deliver the seat. Because for me, it is not just about Raila's candidature, but then it is the candidature of a person that is a Kenyan citizen, that is a citizen of East Africa, who's expressed the interest to go for the seat. And as we all agree on this particular table, that Raila is best suited to take over that position. So I would want to see the efforts that we as a country are going to put in to ensure that Raila gets the seat. I would want to see the efforts that the East African community region is going to put in place to ensure that the seat comes back home. So it is an interesting few days to come, considering the fact that this seat is, if Raila is to take the seat, it's supposed to start working in February of next year.
Yeah.
Yes. So if it will be an interesting, few months to come to see how much effort the country we are going to put in, and even the region.
So, Victor.
Yes, go ahead.
Let me begin with where Mwalimu raised an issue about Raila exiting the political scene, and he seems quite uncomfortable with that particular line of speech. Let me put this on record, that God willing, if we win this particular seat, the AUC chairship, Raila turns 80 next year on 7th of January. He normally turns over on 7th of every January. So he will be 80 years. as an individual now, let me speak as an individual in this particular issue. I think that Raila, if he were to get this particular job, it would be, for me, a dignified way of him exiting the political stage with honor. He's put in a very good fight. That in the 80s, when we had, when Africa was just coming post-independence settling, and they were fighting against pressures from the new black people, Raila was among the people who stood up and fought for it. In the 90s, when we wanted an extended democratic space, Raila was there and fought it. When we got into political dispensation of politics in the year 2000 and above, Raila was there fighting for us. So he's done good work.
Yeah.
And every dancer must know when to exit the stage. I know for Mwalimu that might actually spell doom. And there is, of course, that's why then you get that there is apprehension. That Mwalimu took time to actually take issue with the word exiting, speaks to the apprehension on that particular end. I said earlier on that there are the people who might not have the candor, the qualities that Mwalimu has. And I started by saying, if you remember my first submission, I said that we will see more of Mwalimu's level of people coming up from some of those regions, because there is a pedigree of leaders from those particular shows whose only qualification is to say tunaenda kusaidia Baba. There are other people who will not survive sunset if Baba withdrew his candidature and support. So I know Mwalimu must actually show up for ODM and Azimio. But this is the truth, that there are also other people. Let me also even speak from our side. There are other people from this particular end who's made a career by scaring people, by turning Raila into a scarecrow. So there are other people on the other side who think, whose only qualification to leadership has been supporting Baba.
In other words, you want Raila to exit local politics.
I'm not saying that I want him to exit, but I'm just telling you that this is a demographic imperative.
Yes.
That a time comes when even the best of dancers have to exit the stage. And I'm thinking that the AUC chairmanship for Raila Odinga is the honorable way for him to exit the stage. And for me, if Baba is living in that particular way, he's going out the Alexander the Great way, that whoever is strong amongst you, let him come and take over the throne.
Reshima, you're not so happy about that statement. He's still repeated what you said, exiting, and he said it almost.
Well, I had not used that word, but I saw him pick it with the newspaper.
You know,
He's mentioned that one 8 times.
Being a teacher in class, sometimes some students don't take cue very fast. So you could fall among those students in class that when you are told this is no goes on, then you still go back. So I forgive me.
Yes.
But in any case, I believe that as a country, you realize that since he announced this kind of position, every day, all the newspapers are on Raila. So it means that Raila himself is an institution, not just political institution. He is also a democratic institution. He is an enigma. He is octogenarian. You know, all these qualities are for Raila. Yeah. And some have ulterior motives to wish him well to go. Some are genuine. Some believe that when he gets this job, then he will create a political space for them to operate without any hindrance. But you know, this country is for all of us. And I think it is for the interest of this country that we get this job and see how it helps us to grow as the East Africa bloc. Because this, we are bidding as a bloc. We are bidding because we have never had this for the last 23 years.
How is it going to affect Azimio, as a member of Azimio, or bring it down home to ODM, if he happens to clinch that position? How is it that position going to
Victor, as you do that, please, I would love him to also respond to this. The chairperson of Azimio party is Uhuru Kenyatta. Everybody else has actually congratulated and welcomed Raila's aspiration and candidature. Why has the Azimio party leader, who is Uhuru Kenyatta, not lend his voice to Raila's candidature? I think the country deserves to know this.
That one I will respond instantly. That you have just said that Uhuru Kenyatta has been meddling, and you wish that he never meddles.
Now, this is Raila Odinga. I saw him Central. I said he's a meddler in Central.
And now, It's like this, you are being a turncoat.
No.
Uhuru never speaks.
Context, context.
Let me say this. For all the years that he has been a president of this country, we all know that he's a laid-back president.
Not true.
And most of the time, he is always the last to speak on issues. But will send his soldiers like Kioni. Kioni was there. Kioni is the Secretary General of Jubilee and will always express the opinion of the Jubilee as a party.
Obasanjo, a president of Nigeria, former president of Nigeria, has come to support Baba. Uhuru Kenyatta, the immediate president of Kenya, and the party leader, he's refused to relinquish that. Even the constitution says, the law says that once you've been a president, you relinquish being a party leader 6 months after election. The party leader, that is a question you are running away from, Mwalimu, and you teach us how to be straightforward. Why has your party leader, I'm now talking about the bigger house that is Azimio, why? And yesterday, he spoke in other places, but he did not talk about Raila's candidature. He even spoke about mundane local things, but he did not speak about something that is important and has grasped the attention of the nation. Why has Uhuru Kenyatta not said that? Is he a candidate?
You see, there are certain political lines that you might not take as a politician. There are certain pronouncements that may dent the career of somebody when you get involved. You cannot carry somebody's emotions. And this is what I'm saying. There are things that we might not be able to say. Because in politics, it is about individuals and it is about emotions. And sometimes it could be a strategy. You never know. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the former president. It could be a laid strategy because we are aware that these people, they speak on a daily basis. The former president would speak to Raila on a daily basis. So what makes him not speak on this, I would not make it an issue. It is not an issue because as a coalition, the coalition has responded. The former president, even as a coalition, even as a chairman, I remember he has only attended our meetings.
I'm told you're running
3 times.
Victor, can I just allow me just once? Just a question.
He has only attended.
I will not contribute. A
Our
question.
meetings
Just a
3
question on it.
times.
It's important,
3
Victor.
times.
You're all out
Victor,
of order.
Victor, just a question, kindly. It will be important that we put this. Mwalimu helps us. You realize that Mwalimu, for the first time, he's been very articulate and straight. On this one, he's gotten very vague. I want to ask it again. Mwalimu, you are in Azimio. Is Uhuru Kenyatta Museveni's candidate? Was Uhuru Kenyatta to declare his candidature for the AUC chairmanship yesterday?
I think
we don't know.
No, I asked. He comes from Azimio,
That one I
and
don't
Chinua
know.
Achebe will tell you.
Is he going to declare his
I'm guessing because up to now, the noises we are hearing from Central would have been
we are running
settled.
out of time. The president,
he would actually have
right.
supported Raila yesterday.
Wakili,
Yes.
the president is going to Naivasha today.
Yes.
I know Arnold is so passionate about this, but to take stock of what's happening in his government. 20 seconds, kindly. My director is already on the floor.
Okay, no problem. I would want to believe because they are going to have the PG and then thereafter they are going to have these other subsequent meeting. I would want to believe that it is part of their housekeeping.
Yes.
And considering that now Parliament has resumed its its sessions, just to chart the way forward in terms of its agenda within the assembly and even the country at large, and also stock keeping. So it is not anything out of the ordinary. I would want to presume that it's just their normal order of business. I wouldn't really want to read so much out of it. It is important that for any leadership, and especially political as it were in the country right now, that as Parliament resumes, the foot soldiers that are in Parliament are given a very clear direction as to what exactly do they, does the Kenya Kwanza Alliance want to see things go. You remember in the months back, we've had so many of government projects being shot down by the judiciary. So I think it's just in the in the fullness of time, Kenya Kwanza wants to put its house in order. So there's nothing so much out of the ordinary.
Allow me to do this for all of you. We'll have more time and discuss more of this probably once we've had that PG and outcome. Arnold Maliba promised me to give me another show once that PG is done. kindly.
I'm always at your,
Thank you so much.
at your
Asante
mercy.
sana. Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for coming on the show. And you as a viewer, I'm sorry, we've run out of time, but it's always sweet.
You
We're
have
almost
not
finishing.
given us time to say hi to Kibra people.
Okay. Okay. Say hi. Say hi. Otherwise, we know what might befall us.
You know, when I'm here and I don't say hi to my constituents,
You'll be thrown out.
I will be thrown out.
Please
So
go ahead.
I serve at their pleasure.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity to serve them and take care of their interests in this nation. I always believe that Kibra is the bedrock of politics in this country. Thank you very much. And all the viewers, I want to thank the KBC for inviting us for such kind of a good debate about the state of the nation. And I'm always available to come back.
Asante sana.
I have got somebody to also say hi to. The Kenya
Arnold.
Kwanza voters. I just want to tell them out there
Tumemaliza.
that if
Arnold,
it were not for them,
Mheshimiwa, tumemaliza.
this country would be in
Thank
a
you so
very
much
bad
for
place.
watching.
Thank you, Kenya Kwanza. Thank you,
Arnold,
UDA,
you're
for
becoming
voting.
naughty.
Otherwise, this
Thank you so much
country.
for watching. Please go ahead and download the app. This is the app that you need to watch. If you want to watch KBC, please go ahead and download the app on Google Play Store, and you'll get everything as it happens here. This is all we have. Thank you so much for watching. Arnold Maliba, Director, Advisor, UDA Communications, as well as Wakili Bika Shoya and Mheshimiwa Peter Orero of Kibra constituency. Asante sana, gentlemen, for coming to the show.
asante.
As a viewer,
Karibu
thank you
sana.
for watching. Good morning. My name is Mutulu. Bye-bye.